Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm your host, Derrick Schommer, and today I'm going to just do a short little, I think it's going to be short little tutorial, if you will, informational knowledge share with you on making a tincture. And I apologize ahead of time for my glasses. They're auto-transitioned, and I was just outside trying to catch the dog. So, the whole purpose of a tincture really is it's a concentrated flavor. So if you've ever had vanilla extract, if you're baking and stuff, you basically have a tincture. What you're doing is you're preserving a flavor you really like in a preservative, typically an alcohol. You could do it with glycerin. You could do it with vinegar if you really want to. It's all about pH levels and stuff. But in this case, what I did is I have a problem with chocolate mint. It just won't stop growing in my garden. I had a little bit, and mint is crazy, and it just took over the garden. So as I was cleaning it out for the year to put some vegetables in, tons of chocolate mint. What I wanted to do is preserve some of that chocolate mint. I know it hasn't gone away. It doesn't matter how much I destroy it. So I wanted to preserve that and maybe be able to use it in a cocktail. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how I would go about preparing chocolate mint as a tincture. The tincture itself, to concentrate the flavors, you're going to add 2 parts of vodka or high-proof spirits. You can do it with brandy, rum. I'm going to use 100 proof Pinnacle because this is what I typically do with my Pinnacle, and it's used as an infuser. High-proof vodkas or grain alcohols are great for infusions. So they're neutral, so you're not going to get a lot of flavor profile in them, and it's going to allow the regular flavor to carry through. So I'm going to do 2 parts of this to 1 part of that. I don't know how much that is because it's sitting in a bucket of water at the moment, so I'll use my measure to figure out about what the weight is, and I'll weight out the same 2 times as much vodka, put it in a jar, and then you're going to let it rest for 3 to 6 weeks. So let's just do that. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drain out the herbs, and I have the herbs right now. They're actually growing. I picked them a day ago, and they were kind of a little saggy, and they're growing much better now that I threw them in the pool of water, and that's going to get them a chance to absorb as much water as they can and keep them fresh rather than getting all limp and useless. So let's dump that water. The other thing I did when before I put the water in there was I rinsed them and I let them soak, and then I dumped them out, get all the dirt and everything off them, so there's no dirt, there's no brown leaves, freshly picked. And I selected that, hand selected the ones I wanted. So in this case, what I'll do is I'm going to throw my mint here. And first thing I need to do is I need to kind of macerate it a little bit, and then I'll throw it on here and I'll weigh it out. Right now it's set to 0 grams. I'm going to take this, I'm going to chop it up, probably in smaller bunches. And I have a lot of it here because I want a nice super concentration. All right. Break this up. Boom. It's very bright in here. Very smells like mint. Now I can leave it in the vodka in plant form, but with this type of plant, it's often easier to have the alcohol leach out the flavor. If you give it an easier way to leach out, speed up the processing a little bit, and you'll be good to go. Looks like I got about 24 grams of chocolate mint, and it really is chocolate mint. That's the delineation. I don't know if it has a better name in Latin or not, but you got your 24 grams. So then I'm going to do 48 grams. It's 24 and 24, 48 seems like the right number. I'm going to do 48 grams of vodka. Let's see. No way. That's definitely not going to cover it. What I want to do is 48 is just not going to do. So let's add more. I want it to cover the product. There we go. So I'd say double that, at least. If you could, what I don't want to do is I don't want to mash it. I could keep it at that level and just push down the mint, but I want there to be lots of room for it to just expand and aerate and get all lovely and suck out those aromas. Top it off, case it, cover it up, and leave it there, again, for about almost a month. Okay, 22 days later, I've got this just crazy black mint juice that's just sitting here. It's gone through multiple permutations. I smelled it every few days. I just check it out. And it is potent, like almost want to gag. It's so minty strong. So apparently the concentrate has been concentrated. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in one of these. These are Boston round glass, a small 5-ounce Boston round with eyedropper. You can get them in different styles. For this, the eyedropper definitely works. I think Pearl Specialty, or there's a couple different places you can buy them online in 12 packs and have them shipped over. Of course, the more you buy, the better. I'm going to strain it, and I'm not going to get too crazy because I know the mint leaves are fairly large and the particles are big. I'm just going to use a tea strainer. If you want to, you can use some cheesecloth, and I'm just going to filter it right down into this here. Let's give this a try. It should start to clog up. I don't know if it's going to fill the entire jar, how this is going to... What? They all flew out, so there's definitely a lot of pieces in here. Made a little bit of a mess. A little bit of a mess. And that's it. Take those. They're done. This is throw-outable. That smells pretty good, though. And if you make a big mess, you just clean it up later. Let's see what these look like. So pretty much extracted the colors and everything from them. You'll find that mint does kind of brown with oxygen, so it's one of the reasons cooking mint can be kind of challenging. It gets very bitter. So I wouldn't boil this. I wouldn't even steep this in like a sous vide method if you wanted to do it as a fast extraction. The easiest way to do it is with an easy whipper. Use the easy, pressurize it with NO2, and from there you can actually produce a fast infusion or rapid infusion of this type of stuff. So what I want to do though is I want to just kind of give it a taste and see if I can find different nuances and see if it comes out and how much I need. This is good if you're going to use it in a cocktail. What I typically do first is baseline it against just some club soda because it's got the springy bubbliness in there. Everything you really need. This is a fresh bottle of Q Club. And if you do have some particles in here, not a big deal. Almost looks like an absinthe. I'm going to go with just 5 drops and see what happens, but you're probably going to need more than that. A little bit. So a standard dash for a bitter is to empty at least the contents of an eyedropper. Then we're going to give it a little stir. Now that we kind of know it isn't overly potent, give it a couple drops if it's crazy, like if you were to do it with a 5,000 Scoville Naga chili pepper. Slight chocolate mint note, almost the Andy Candies approach, but I'm going to add a little bit more because it's not too overwhelming. And this is a great way to preserve flavor profiles that you really like from your garden, and if you don't pick it, it's going to die at the end of the season for most of us. So you need to have some sort of method to be able to capture some of the essence besides consuming all of it. That's 2 dashes is good. 2 dashes gives you a nice, slightly chocolatey, it's weird because there's no sweetness to it, slightly chocolatey, minty flavor profile in just your club soda. So if you add a couple dashes to any type of cocktail, even if you put it in a mojito to give it a little chocolate flair to it, it might be kind of neat. This concept, the tincture concept, can be expanded for a lot of different reasons. If you're an herbalist, if you believe in, I don't know if it's necessarily believe as much as understand the healing properties that come with different types of herbs. Sometimes they're used to rest the stomach, for upset stomachs. That's the one I see commonly the most. And in those cases, you can use a lot of the stomach herbs to highly concentrate them and then add some of the concentration to a water or soda water if you're having an upset stomach to be able to relieve some of that. Other people have used ginger ale. That's another common one. You can use your own ginger and do the same type of concentrate. If you wanted to create your own bitters and you wanted to have a mint chocolate nuance to your bitter, build your bittering agents. You could take each one. You could build a tincture out of wormwood, out of horehound, out of any of the different bitters, vanilla or cherry bark, add a tincture of vanilla, also known as vanilla extract, and build the bitter on the fly based on balancing on your own, so you have a lot more control. Very similar to what you would do if you were a Scotch blender, where you're going to blend based on taste. You're going to take from this barrel, you're going to take from this barrel, this age, that age, and say a Solera blend or whatever, and be able to kind of mix and match. You could do the same thing with tinctures. Build tinctures, and if you want to, you can add some chocolate mint nuances to a cocktail. Or you can add it to a bitter that you're building with some other bittering agents and some other herbal complexities and build them on the fly. Write down your notes and you've got yourself a recipe. So you'll see some people do base their bitter recipes off of tinctures themselves. Other people just use tinctures in their recipes. That, my friends, is how you can build a tincture. Not hard. Alcohol, herb. Alcohol, fruit. Alcohol, anything. Alcohol is the key. You can also do it with sugars and make a sugar syrup. Won't necessarily last as long in most cases unless you use a lot of sugar, and the extraction might not be as vibrant, but it could be used in a completely different set of circumstances for bringing sweeteners into your cocktails. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of understanding of the tincture and how you could take and create a flavor profile for something that you might not have had any other ideas on what to do with, and it's in your garden at the end of the season and you want to savor those flavors of peaches and plums before the seasons end, and you just can't eat them all at once. You could store them in little bottles like this and use them in your cocktails. That's it, my friends. Don't forget to subscribe to Common Man Cocktails. We're done. We're teaching you how to make a tincture. It's just like ice sculpturing, but more fun because you get to break stuff. Worst case, if it doesn't come out right or you break one oddly, then just